Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, has Tyson Fury just ducked Oleksandr Usyk? So, in the last few days, of course, the big news in relation to boxing has been in regards to the heavyweight division. Essentially, what is next for Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, Anthony Joshua, and Dillian Whyte. We know the situation. I don't need to lay it out for you. We know about the purse bids being delayed. We know about alleged step-aside offers, alleged negotiations for undisputed between Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury. We know what's going on right now. It's basically a big clusterfuck, and me personally, I'm getting rather impatient with waiting for some sort of resolution in regards to the heavyweight division. But today, some more information was released to the press, one by Eddie Hearn, and again, you have to take what Eddie Hearn says with a huge pinch of salt. Just want to put that out there. But Eddie Hearn said the following on IFL, essentially claiming that Tyson Fury has decided that he does not want to fight Oleksandr Usyk next. Hearn said that Anthony Joshua would be willing to consider a step aside, but Fury doesn't want Usyk, and essentially he expects Fury versus Whyte to take place next, and obviously Usyk versus Joshua too to come next also. So that's what Eddie Hearn had to say. He's basically insinuating that undisputed was a possibility, and Tyson Fury poured cold water on that. And again, you may be saying, well, that's Eddie Hearn, he can't really be trusted. Well, Oleksandr Usyk's manager, I believe, Igis Klimas, also said something on Twitter in response to Tyson Fury calling Oleksandr Usyk a pussy. This is what Igis Klimas had to say in relation to that. And again, this is a little bit broken English, considering it's his second language, so bear with me. Yo man, before next time you mention Oleksandr Usyk's name, check with your team, management, advisors and promoters who agreed with all of the terms and conditions. Looks like you are the one who is holding this wagon. Yelling and talking is cheap at Tyson Fury. That is what Klimas had to say in regards to Tyson Fury and the current situation. So Igis Klimas, Usyk's manager, he's also insinuating that talks were ongoing, and it was looking quite positive until it was Tyson Fury who essentially poured cold water on it. So this is not looking good for Tyson Fury, as far as I'm concerned. And if this is the case, if more information is revealed and Tyson Fury categorically chose not to fight Oleksandr Usyk next, that is a flat-out duck. There's no other way to paint it, and Tyson Fury deserves a lot of criticism. I know for some people, Tyson Fury is above criticism. They think he can walk on water, feed the 5,000. They believe that he actually donated 8 million quid to charity. You know, these types, Tyson Fury could bang their misses and they would still fanboy for him. So I'm not expecting these guys to hold Tyson Fury to any form of accountability, you know, that is what it is. But for me, as a fight fan who just wants to see undisputed above anything else in the heavyweight division, I find this extremely disappointing, and quite frankly, I happen to believe it. I really do. I mean, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, for me personally, in recent months have been nothing short of a disgrace, holding up the heavyweight division. We know the situation with Fury and Whyte. I think both guys are to blame there. But the fact that Tyson Fury, or well, it's looking like Tyson Fury had an opportunity to at least pursue an undisputed fight and he's turned that down. Fuck that guy. As for Anthony Joshua, I remember these clowns on here calling Anthony Joshua a throwback fighter, right? Would a throwback fighter take 4 fucking months to decide whether to activate a rematch clause, which he insisted on against Oleksandr Usyk, which was a mandatory, by the way? Would a throwback fighter take 4 months to activate a rematch clause for a fight in which he lost first time around? Of course not. Do you think Marvin Hagler, because Marvin Hagler is the one people like to go back to when it comes to throwback fighters, if Marvin Hagler had a rematch clause against Sugar Ray Leonard, would it have taken him 4 months to decide whether he wanted a rematch or not? Probably not. Probably not. Joshua, he should have made his decision a long fucking time ago. He's dicking around looking for a trainer while keeping Oleksandr Usyk on the sidelines, not letting him progress with his career. Tyson Fury is fucking around with Dillian Whyte, and now it appears that he's had the opportunity to at least pursue Undisputed, and he's turned that down. It's nothing short of a fucking disgrace. And the ironic thing is, for me personally, when Oleksandr Usyk came up to the heavyweight division, all we heard was Tyson Fury fans, and in particular Anthony Joshua fans, shit on this guy coming up. They shit on this guy for having the audacity to pursue his mandatory status against Anthony Joshua. Oh, he's getting in the way of Undisputed. He's not done anything to deserve a heavyweight title shot, despite him cleaning out the cruiserweight division, becoming undisputed, and winning every single belt away from home. He fulfilled his promise when he turned pro to become undisputed cruiserweight champion. He fulfilled his promise and done everything he said he would. That work alone merited him for a heavyweight title shot. Then they were saying, oh, he's too small to challenge Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. He's too small. He struggled with Chisora. All that shit. When in reality, yeah, this guy's smaller than Joshua. This guy's a lot smaller than Tyson Fury. But he's more of a heavyweight champion than those guys could ever be. Both Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are very good fighters. But they're businessmen first. Oleksandr Usyk is a fighter first, businessman second. That's the reality. Oleksandr Usyk has more fortitude, desire to be a great fighter in his little finger than Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua do in their whole bodies. I'm sick and tired of Tyson Fury fucking around, doing shitty videos on Twitter, using stupid filters like a 12-year-old girl, calling everyone under the sun pussies, when it looks like he's the one who is not going down the undisputed route. Whereas Oleksandr Usyk, he seemed willing, and I've got no reason to doubt Oleksandr Usyk. Everything he said in his career, he's fulfilled. When he turned pro, I want to become the undisputed cruiserweight champion. Not only did he do that in quick time as well, not only did he do that, he won all of those belts away from home. After cruiserweight, I want to try to become undisputed heavyweight champion. What does he do? Fights Anthony Joshua away from home, schools him, beats him up, and wins the unified heavyweight titles. One fight away from becoming undisputed, and you expect me to believe Oleksandr Usyk is the problem here? Absolutely not. Tyson Fury has a history of lying. He's a pathological liar. He's held up undisputed before when he got busted for PEDs, when he lost his titles, obviously. The Anthony Joshua situation back last summer, it seemed Team Fury was to blame. Fury has held up the division as much as most fighters have in the heavyweight division, and I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick to death of it. And as for Anthony Joshua, again, he's not exactly covered himself in glory in the last few months. I hated the idea of the rematch clause because it holds things up, as we're seeing now. If he wanted to implement a rematch clause, at least activate that rematch clause right away and start negotiations right away so we can get this fight out of the way. How about that? Instead of taking 4 months to decide whether you want to fight this guy or not. Dicking around in Dubai, in America, etc. Prancing around with different trainers. You know, it's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. I'm sick to death of it as well. Sick to death of it. And again, it's ironic because when Usyk moved up to the heavyweight division, he was met with vitriol, doubters, people questioning whether he was too small. Yet he's the only guy right now who is conducting himself like a heavyweight champion. There's no talk, just action. No talk, just action. That's what a heavyweight champion should be. Anyone, anywhere, anytime. Prepared to go away from home and do it the hard way. Fights anybody. We've seen that in his career. You know, and I can't say the same for Tyson Fury, especially Tyson Fury. I can't say the same for Anthony Joshua. I'm tired of these guys now. I really am. I mean, honestly, I hope these guys are gone out of boxing sooner rather than later. I hope Usyk takes care of Joshua in the rematch and I hope he goes on to take care of Tyson Fury so we can see the back of these guys. They've had the opportunity to do something great. I don't care for the excuses. They failed to deliver. You know, Britain had something good at one point in time, but for me now, these guys are holding up the division. I'm sick and tired of hearing about rematch clauses and purse splits and all this and all that. Pay-per-view numbers, stadium fights. I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. I really am. Sick and tired of it. I hope these guys get out of boxing sooner rather than later, because I'm sick of them. I really am. I'm sick to death of them. And I know it's not popular criticising Tyson Fury for whatever reason. Listen, there's a difference between a fan and a fanboy, and I've noticed Tyson Fury has a lot of fanboys, and I do wonder why that is, because to me he's not particularly likeable, he's dishonest, he's a pathological liar, alleviates himself from any responsibility, and then it clicked. That is the society we live in today. You know, taking accountability these days seems to be a foreign concept for a lot of people. They can pull a couple of cards and they alleviate themselves from any responsibility, much like Tyson Fury did when he failed his PED test. You know, after that, we heard the stories about the mental health, you know, and honestly, I don't believe half of it. I'm sure he was depressed, but I'm sure he was depressed because he got caught and he came up with that sort of cover story, you know. But who knows? Who knows? I'm past caring about Tyson Fury. I'm past caring about Anthony Joshua. You can stick your stadium fights up your ass. These guys, man, need to get a move on. Joshua needs to decide whether he wants to fight Usyk next and get it done right away. And Tyson Fury needs to fight Dillian White right away. No fucking around. Just get it done, at least. At least be active. At least give us that. And then who knows, maybe after these next couple of fights, then maybe we could get undisputed. For the love of God, I hope Usyk still has his titles, because undisputed would be a lot easier to make if at least one party wants that fucking fight. We'll see what happens, but I'm sick and tired of these guys, man. I really am. I'm sick and tired of their fanboys on each fucking side. Sick and tired of it all. I mean, we saw something great a couple of days ago when Julio Cesar Martinez stepped up at relatively short notice, and he is now fighting Roman Gonzalez, one of the all-time greats in the lower weight classes. And he only done that because the opportunity randomly presented itself. He didn't fuck around and say, I need more time, I need a tune-up. He took the fight. He wants to be great. He was proactive. That's what we should expect from fighters, to always be ready, to be willing to fight, to be willing to take a risk. But you know, these heavyweights in the UK are too pampered, they are prima donnas, and hopefully we see the end of them rather soon. Share your thoughts below. Peace.